tal a todos? Nos encontramos en el Hotel Le Méridien para poder conversar con P.O.D, que está de regreso en Chile para dejar un concierto impresionante mañana en el Teatro Cariola. Hello guys, how are you today?
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
What's up, man?
Hello.
Hola.
Well, P.O.D is back in Chile after 7 years. How does it feel to return to this country, and what are your expectations for the show at Teatro Cariola?
You know what? We are super excited to be here. 7 years is a long time.
7 years. 7 years.
And we thought it was 10 years, but if it's 7 years, that's great.
Even good.
But we're excited because you know what? We love to go to different countries, different cultures, different energy, all that stuff. And last time we were here, the memory is just amazing. The fans were amazing. They were very energetic, and they've been bugging us online for years. When are you coming to Chile? And now we're here. Come on.
Come on out. Yeah.
That's great. Well, Veritas is your latest work and has been described as one of your best albums to date. What elements set this album apart from your previous one, and how do you feel how you evolved over the years?
I mean, we're very proud of this record. It took some time during COVID, you know what I mean? We had just finished a new record in 2018, and we were touring all over the world with that record. And then once the pandemic hit, you know, it took us some time to get into the groove of things, you know what I mean? Just because of the state of the world. But then that's when we decided to write a record. We decided to keep it, you know, it's got all the elements of P.O.D, but it's rocking all the way through.
Yeah.
You know, and then I don't think it was. I mean, we think we had some intention. Just Marcos wanted to keep this record real rock and roll and grooving, and so we started that way. And just because of the writing process, the album just kind of stayed in that pattern. You know what I mean? And it's probably one of my favorite records in 33 years.
I think because we are blessed to be able to flirt with different styles of music, and I think a lot of people like that. But I think at sometimes we got lost. And when we were like, oh dude, we did a whole record that was more reggae based or more alternative based, and you got to remember that majority of people around the world love to rock. So I was like, hey, you know what, dude, let's just rock, you know. But not that we're gonna forget what we're capable of doing, but I really feel like Sonny said that we kind of focused and honed in on that sound of this is what P.O.D rockin' is. And I can't wait to work on the new stuff, because it might even go heavier.
Yeah.
You never know.
Deep groove.
Let's go.
Well, the album features notable collaborations with Randy Light from Lamb of God and Tatiana from Ginger. What is what like working with these artists, and what did they bring to each song?
Those bands are all we're all fans of those bands, and I think with Tatiana, I think we were looking for a vocal that was going to be a strong female vocal and presence, and that song just needed that extra something. And Marcos wound up meeting, was it her husband?
Alex,
right?
Yeah.
And a relationship developed there. And you know, we ran into. It's funny, we actually ran into Tatiana when we were in Europe at a club that we were going to be playing the next night. And we kind of just, you know, developed a relationship there too as well. And I just think, you know, it's something we just, you know, wanted to experiment with. As far as Randy Blythe, you know, we've always been fans of that band. You know, we've always, you know, I think we all kind of, you know, chewed the same dirt, so to speak, you know, touring around in the same places. So I think that was a good fit for that song. Drive.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I mean, there's times when we've written songs and we kind of have somebody in mind, but most of the time it just happens organically. And I think for both songs, they were finished, and it was like, let's call our friends and see if they're capable to do it. And, you know, we sent them the song, and they're like, I love it, let's do it. And so, and then we did the same thing with Cove from Scaring Kids. He sings for Dead American, Seosin, and he's on one of the songs too.
Well, the reviews have been very positive, highlighting how you keep the signature sound. How do you manage to maintain your essence while you experiment with new styles?
I mean, we don't really think about it. We know who we are, and I think a lot of artists are trying to find themselves. We know exactly who we are, so when we go in, we know what we're capable of. We know what we want to try to do, and sometimes we go a little outside the box and go, hey, we're going to try something different, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But staying true to the sound, it's natural for us. It's organic. I think a lot of artists, especially when it comes to meshing sounds from like rap and metal and rock and punk, they're trying too hard.
Yeah.
and then you sit there and go, this doesn't sound right. For us, it just comes natural, and it's always kind of been like that. So it's not something that's really overthought. It's something that I think we just kind of, it's all vibes and energy, and we're just like, yeah, that's good. That's a good vibe. That feels good. That's it.
And I also think that's a characteristic of SoCal, Southern California. Southern California is a melting pot of a bunch of different styles of music, and believe it or not, like all of us come from very different backgrounds. I mean, I never played metal or even rock music until I got with these guys, and I think Marcos had a background in music he was really into, which was more, punk, metal, Slayer type stuff, and Sonny was doing rap and hip hop and like a reggae. So I think it's just a natural thing for us.
Yeah.
If we decide to do something, it comes off authentic because we actually come from those genres.
Mm-hmm. Or we like all of those musics as well. Some people just do it because it's hip. Yeah, it's hip, or it's trendy, and then whatever's trendy next time they try that. So it's not a lifestyle music to them. For us, it really is a lifestyle.
Yeah, we ain't
music.
faking the funk. Yeah. I mean, this is what we do.
It's crazy because I've been reading a lot of comments online about that. How do you guys just keep putting out great metal with rap and rock and all this stuff? And I was like, because that's who we are. That's how we started. Yep. We're not faking it, and it's not a trend for us. Yeah. And we've seen a lot of we've been a band long enough now that we've seen a lot of trends come and go, and we stay true to our sound. So I can honestly say, like, we stuck to it, and we're proud of what we're capable of, and you're gonna continue to hear that from us because that's who we are.
Yeah. One thing too, in San Diego, I meant to say this, but everybody authentically in San Diego listens to everything, passionately. So it's like these different genre of musics are something that everybody listens to, so it's a natural, like I said, it's a natural process for us.
But I also think the rest of the world is catching up.
Yeah.
I think in Europe and in South America, it's not so segregated as it used to be. A lot of people listen to punk, or they'll listen to reggae, and they listen to metal, and they'll go to different shows. When I was growing up, everybody was like, oh, dude, you can't listen to rap and you can't listen to pop and metal. I'm like, why not?
Now they're doing country, rap, and metal, and so 33 years ago, all that stuff was a no-no. But we crossed over those borders and said, this is the kind of music we love. So we're gonna mash them together.
That's great. Well, how do you remember the explosion of the Agra and new metal scene in the 90s and 2000s? What do you think has been the key to keeping your music relevant in a scene that has changed so much?
When you think of new metal, what is that? Yeah. Like, I grew up in metal, like Queensryche, Iron Maiden, Scorpions, all that stuff as a kid, but it had a specific sound. New metal, when you think about it, let's go down the list. Korn doesn't sound like Limp Bizkit. Limp Bizkit doesn't sound like P.O.D. Linkin Park doesn't sound. It was what Sonny just said. We were mashing up different styles with rap and singing, and people just called it new metal. System of a Down was adding Armenian beats and stuff like that, if you think about it. And a lot of people that talk trash about new metal, I'm like, you're just scared of the diversity because it's not the safe box of metal. And I love metal, but I'm open to different genres, and we're open to different genres, and that's why P.O.D. sounds like that. And if people want to call us new metal, bring it, baby. We're new metal.
The thing that's crazy about new metal too is everybody has this name, new metal, all these bands, but they all sound different. They all have their own unique thing that they bring to it. It's still in the genre of new metal, but if you, like Marco said, if you listen to all those bands, if a Linkin Park song comes on, it's Linkin Park. If Deftones comes on, it's Deftones. But it's all considered new metal. That was a great era of music to be in.
And we've been around long enough. We're seeing a lot of these baby bands that are coming out saying that they're trying to sound like the bands from our era.
Yeah.
They're not embarrassed. They're like, no, we're trying to sound like 2000s, 90s new metal.
Yeah, I saw a title said the new metal. So like they're trying to be the 90s and 2000s all over again, because that was an authentic.
It was authentic.
A season for music. That was a great time for music.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that love it, and there's a lot of people that hate on it, but I think there's a lot more love for it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it's usually, when I see, even now, you'll see a band like Lorna Shore, they get so much hate online, and I'm like, why? Because they're different?
Yeah.
It kind of bothers me, but that's the internet, right? So it's the same thing with nu metal. When it came out, all the old metal heads were like, "Oh, that's not metal. That's whack." And I was like, "Oh, it's here to stay, baby." You know what I mean? So you gotta love it or leave it. You don't have to listen to it. That's the fun thing about music. If you don't like it, don't listen to it.
Yep.
But because your girlfriend likes it, then you go to the show, and then she buys you a shirt.
Well,
And
now-
a chocolate.
And a chocolate. That's true.
Chocolate.
Well, the Christian and spiritual message has always been an important part of your music. How do you balance that with the more aggressive metal side, especially in albums like Satellite?
I mean, that's just one element, you know, to us. Faith has always been important, but we come from that hardcore scene, you know, where you were straight edge, or you were Krishna or Buddhist, and you were whatever, vegan, you know, whatever it was. We come from that era, and so it wasn't. Everybody was about something, you know. It wasn't until we kind of crossed into the metal lines, or maybe even in mainstream, where they wanted to put us into a box. And it's never been that way for us. We never came out and said we're a Christian band, because we didn't listen to just Christian bands. We didn't even, when I got in this band, I didn't even know what that was. People were saying, "You guys are a Christian band." I didn't even know what that was. Like, what does that mean? I said this before. They didn't call Beastie Boys like Buddhist rap, or you know what I mean. They didn't label them by their faith. So they always just put us in that box, and that's something we've always battled. But
And
it
sucks,
doesn't
but you
bother
know
us
what?
anymore.
It used to bother us more, but it sucks because that's just human nature.
Yeah.
That's all it is. You used to go when you were able to buy a record at a store or buy a CD, you would have the metal section, you would have the pop section, you would have the world music section, you know, and then you'd have the Christian music section. It's like, it's all music, right? I can say rock has got a big what's the word I'm looking for? Like
Audience.
Yes.
no
It's got a big wide brush. It's got
Yeah.
a big, like, I don't know.
and there's so many different styles of rock. There's
Right.
so many different styles of metal. But people just want to say, "Oh, you're this, you're that." Like you're interviewing us. You're the blonde streak interviewer. So we're gonna put you in a box and say you're the blonde streak interviewer moving forward. It's not fair, because there's more to you than just that. Like you got bands, gremlins. You know what I'm saying?
Draculas.
Well, that's true.
So we've been dealing with it the whole time.
Yeah.
And then
We're used to it now.
You know.
It's part of the business now.
Can't fight it anymore, man.
Yeah.
That's
And
true.
you can't be what everyone wants you to be.
Yeah.
And
I think that's the problem too, is that we're all different characters, but once people think of Christian, there's a certain negative stereotype, like we're, you know, the blonde, blue-eyed American Christian. It's like, I hate all that religious stuff. You know what I mean? So it's just, yeah, we're just us. That's it.
But then you get the conservatives
Yeah.
that are really Christian, and then they're like, "Oh, those guys are of the devil."
yeah, we're not
And
Christian
then we're
enough.
like sitting there going, "All right."
And we get to Chile, and they're like, "Yee."
Yeah. Then we go to the discoteca in Chile, and then I'm like, "Boom, jim, boom, jim, boom, jim." No, I'm just kidding.
No, that's not Christian.
Well, Chile has been a special place for many rock and metal bands. Do you remember any particular anecdote from your previous visit to the country, or any moment that stands out of it?
I do. We were trying to get to our vans after the show, and the crowd was sitting there going crazy. And we had our security guard named Smitty, and he's trying to get everyone into the van, and all of a sudden somebody jumped on his back, and he lost it, and he was like, "Back the F up!"
I thought you
And
were
everybody
swing
just like
on
that,
him.
and I hear people in Spanish, "Oh, se enojó el morenito," like that, and then we were cracking up in the van. I go, "Oh, Smitty done had it, dude."
Yeah.
And that we got inside the van, and we could not stop laughing.
They were climbing all over.
And so to me, even though the show was amazing, the fan base being very, you know,
Aggressive.
They were fun, aggressive, but
passionate. I they're passionate. Yeah,
Yeah.
very passionate.
And we were sitting in the middle. I think I still have recordings
Yeah.
of all of us in the
I
van.
think I got lost or something like that.
And
I was the
Trey
last
got
person to come
lost.
in. They
We're
said,
like,
"Where's Trey?
where's Trey
I'm trying to
at?"
make my way in, and Smitty grabbed me and put me in, and they just climbed up his back.
Yeah, they were calling on it. Wow.
Grabbed him.
It's like we're the Beatles or something.
Yeah.
It's like Beatlemania.
sync.
I was like, dang, dude. But it was fun, man.
Yeah, it
It was
fun.
great. Yeah.
That's great. Well, with over 30 years in the music scene, how do you see yourself in the future? Do you still feel the same energy and passion that you had in the first stage?
You know what? We,
Yeah.
we do that. We wouldn't be here.
Just more mature.
We're just older, and we get to be the same kids that we started in the garage every day around the world and play our music and have fun and spread positive message.
It really is. It really is still fun for us.
Yeah.
I think we're not that band that's jaded. You see a lot of the other bands, even some of the bigger bands. It's just like work to them. For us, we feel extremely lucky to be here. You know, and so we play every show like, hey, like it's our last.
And we didn't know we'd be here 30 something years later.
Nope.
And we don't know how much, you know, we don't ever put a date on it. So we're like, hey, if we end up getting up there, we were talking about it like Iron Maiden. We just saw them play at the festival we just did in Sacramento, Aftershock Fest.
Aftershock, yeah.
And we were sitting there go, dude, Bruce Dickinson is 66 years old, Adrian Smith is 67. We're not even close to that. And I go,
Still
hey
rocking.
man, if there's people showing
they
up
could
like
do
that
it.
and they're singing and they want to see us play, if si Dios quiere, we're gonna do it too. But you might have to roll me out on a wheelchair. I'll stand up and sit on a little stool and play. But you know what? Actually, I think when I can say this with a lot of confidence. When I look at my brothers here, you know, we've aged pretty well compared to a lot of the bands out there, and hopefully we can continue to do that, and we can have that energy for a long time, man. And
Another 30 more years, maybe?
woo, if we could do that, I want to see you guys here. Be like, hey, dude,
I grew up with your music. So
Nice.
I'll pull my teeth out and put them back in for you.
Straight up. And finally, what do you want to say to your Chilean fans?
Thank you,
Yeah.
Chile.
Yep.
We love your country. We love everything about your culture. We would love to come back more often.
Yeah,
Hopefully, it doesn't take 7 years next time. And
it won't.
you know,
Yeah, definitely.
we really appreciate the support, and we
And the
see
love.
you guys online every day posting your comments. And we're here. We're here for
Yeah,
you.
we're excited to be here. Very excited.
Well said.
That's excited.
Very excited. I'm very
Very.
excited. This is my excitement. I'm very excited.
Anyways, thank you so much. Muchas
Thank you.
gracias.